What is going on, Brownie Bros? It is Big Time Brownie here for the launch of Season 1 of the Trainer Battle Association, the new league that I have joined. It is a draft league. I am so excited to be joining this league. I'm in another league called the International Pokemon League. I'm heavily involved in that. That's mostly my friends. But these guys, I don't really know. I just met on Reddit/Discord. Today we're just going to be doing a quick draft overview and a team overview, and I'll be going through each Pokemon, talking about why I chose them, and so on and so forth. So first, as you can see on the screen, this is my team. We have Delphox, Gardevoir, Blastoise, Greninja, Landorus, Hydreigon, Tyranitar, Stoutland, Mega Venusaur, Ariados, Bronzong, and Raichu. It's a pretty powerful team, if I do say so myself. Now, I had the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth pick in the draft, and with the first pick that I took, what came off the board first, I'm actually going to pull this up here so you can see. On the left-hand side there, that's the order of what was chosen. Victini went first, then Crobat, interestingly, Landorus, Therian, Kieran Black, Heatran, Tapu Koko, and then I was up, and Landorus I was there for the taking. So Landorus I was the first pick. It is not Sheer Force Landorus I, it is Sand Force Landorus I. So you guys can, I'm going to pull up the tier list here so you guys can see, but right here is Landorus I at 13 points. We had 120 points in the draft, and we had to pick between 9 to 12 Pokemon. Right away, when I saw Landorus was available, I knew I wanted to take it, because even though it is Sand Force and not Sheer Force obviously makes it much better and puts it in Ubers. This Pokemon at 13 points had so much value. It has a great attack stat in 125, a great special attack stat in 115, and its speed stat is really good at 101, meaning you can outspeed a lot of 100 base speed Pokemons, and those are so prevalent in the tier. Things like, or not in the tier, in this league. Things like Victini, or Jirachi, or Manaphy, or Mega Medicham. So it is so awesome to have this Pokemon, and when I saw it and it was there, I knew I needed to take it right away. Obviously, it gets moves like Earthquake and Fly. You can Fly Z. Anything can use Z move. There's no Z captains in this league. And Stone Edge, Knockoff, all those things. But with its special attack stat, things like Sludge Wave and Psychic become viable. All of a sudden viable. And then obviously it can set up rocks and can defog, and it can explode. Grass Knot's another good flying type, or a special move, or a Focus Blast. So it can be a mixed attacker. It can set up its own Sandstorm as well. It's a U-turner. It can set up and sweep. So it wears many different hats. And in my opinion, the most important thing in a draft league team is versatility. I would rather take a Pokemon that's unpredictable, that's a little bit worse, than a Pokemon that has to run basically the same moveset but is really powerful. That's just my own philosophy on it. Let me know if you guys agree with that. Obviously, that's not everyone's philosophy. Now, when I took Landorus I knew I needed, or I wanted to take advantage of the Sand Force ability. So for the second pick, I took Tyranitar. And Tyranitar, again, was, it was actually 14 points, so it costed more than Landorus I, but it works really, really well with Landorus I, as a Sand Setter. Hippowdon's obviously there, Gigalith is there, but Tyranitar is a really powerful mon, and it being a rock dark type, it gets that special defense boost from the sand. On top of that, it resists ice, which is really big for Landorus, so you can switch into this if you're fearing Hidden Power Ice or just an ice type move. Obviously, Landorus I is immune to ground type moves with its flying type. So I thought they really worked well together. Obviously, they do share a weakness in water. Grass. Landorus. Its grass is neutral on Landorus. It resists fighting. And Landorus, it doesn't. I always forget. Does ground resist? Ground does not resist. What's it called? Steel type. But it resists fighting. It's immune to ground, which is nice to pair with it. And of course, it has that monster attack stat at 134. It has a really good special attack stat at 95, and then it's just so bulky with 100 HP, 110 defense, and 100 special defense. And Unnerve is not a bad ability to prevent Pokemon from using what's it called? Berries. Obviously, I'm probably always going to bring Sandstream because more often than not, I'm going to be bringing Landorus. So yeah, I mean, it's such a good Pokemon. Its moveset is, it's one of the deepest movesets, I think, in the game. It can hit so hard on the physical side, but also, with like things like Pursuit, Earthquake, Stone Edge, it gets nice tech like Aqua Tail, Aerial Ace, Crunch obviously a stab. It gets the punches, which is super nice. Does it get Thunder Punch? Yeah, it does. And but on the special side, it gets Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, Surf. So it gets so many good moves on that side as well. Flamethrower as well. So it's a really versatile Pokemon, and it's why it costed 14. It actually, I believe it costed more points than Mega Tyranitar because, I can stick a Smooth Rock on it. At first I thought, I want Mega Tyranitar, but then I thought, no, I want to be able to prolong Sandstorm if I need to. So having regular Tyranitar and being able to stick an AV on it, or a Chople Berry or something like that, I think was just too useful. So for the third pick, I knew what I needed was a really high Spirit-tiered Pokemon, and that's exactly what I chose with our Protean Greninja. Protean and Torrent. I could bring Torrent, but I'm always going to bring Protean when I bring this Pokemon. Obviously, super high speed tier, really good special attack stat, and decent attack stat, and another Pokemon with just a super deep move pool. Another diverse Pokemon, and that's sort of going to be the theme with the team, with obviously a few exceptions, but there's not really a whole lot to say about Protean Greninja. Ash Greninja is banned in this draft. Ash Greninja is fantastic. I had it in my previous draft league, but I do think that Protean Greninja is just a little bit better in a draft league because it can run so many different things and it gets that stab boost. So far through 3 picks, I was ecstatic with having Greninja, Tyranitar, and Landorus. With the 4th pick in the draft, I chose my Mega Venusaur, and when I was looking at my team, I was eyeing up Mega Venusaur right away. Mega Venusaur, Tyranitar, and Landorus are a great trio of Pokemon. So obviously Thick Fat nullifies the Ice and Fire type weakness with Venusaur, so you're really only left with Psychic and Flying. Tyranitar resists Flying, and it's immune to Psychic. With Thick Fat, it's neutral to Ice, so it is a potential switch in once it's Mega Evolved. If something's threatening out Landorus, there's a double water weakness there with Landorus and with Tyranitar, and this resists water. It also is neutral against ground, which is really nice. So overall, really good Pokemon to pair, especially with Tyranitar. It resists fighting as well. So I knew I wanted. And this Pokemon, again, is versatile. It can run It can run physical attacks like Earthquake if you need it to. It gets recovery with Synthesis. It gets Leech Seed. Obviously, Synthesis is going to be a little bit hampered by the Sandstorm if that is up, but it gets other forms of recovery like Leech Seed and Giga Drain. Obviously, Stab Sludge Bomb is super nice as well. It gets access to Knockoff. And it's just a really thick Pokemon that can pretty much absorb hits and switch into things that are threatening out my main Mons. It resists Electric as well if I have a Greninja in there, which, if Greninja has changed types already, who knows. But, so, through 4 picks, I was just super happy. And then we got to the 5th pick, and in the back of my mind, the 3 Mons that I wanted to pair with the first 3 Pokemon that I chose, Landorus, Tyranitar, and Greninja, were Mega Venusaur, Bronzong, and Blastoise. And I obviously got all 3 of those. Bronzong was the next pick in the draft. I am a huge fan of Bronzong in a draft format. I think it has 2 really good abilities. It has Levitate, which is helpful for this team. It also has Heat Proof, which, if someone's expecting Levitate, they probably will not go for a ground type move until they know your ability. So you can bluff Levitate, have Heat Proof, and absorb a fire type hit, which is really nice. It can set up rocks, it can Trick Room. Our team is not the fastest in the world, so if we want a Trick Room, that's absolutely an option. It has a really low speed stat, so Gyro Ball can hit pretty hard. It has 89 attack. It gets access to like Zen Headbutt, but it also gets Psychic and Flash Cannon and those types of moves. So again, it pairs really well with Tyranitar. With Levitate, it resists, or it's immune to ground, and it resists. It has neutral on fighting. Tyranitar, Tyranitar resists Dark. It resists Ghost. It resists Fire. Those 2 have a really good pair there going. This also resists Psychic, which helps with Venusaur. So these 4 Pokemon that we have so far, or these 5 Pokemon that we have so far, have, I think they pair really greatly together. And, Bronzong, you can also run offensive Bronzong. I think it was Joey. I was watching one of his WBE battles, and he ran Weakness Policy, Trick Room, Bronzong, which was pretty cool. I'm a big fan of this, and obviously can set screens up as well, which is really nice utility to have. So with the next pick, I thought I needed something also that hits hard, and that's decently fast, because right now we have Greninja, we have Landorus. I wanted a Dragon type. We have our Steel type with Bronzong, so then we went with Hydreigon. Hydreigon can be physical or special, which I really like. Obviously, this is our third Dark type on the team, but Greninja doesn't really count. But we are susceptible to something like Mach Punch. Luckily, we do have Mega Venusaur that resists it. We have Landorus that resists it. Bronzong takes neutral damage and has really high defense, so I don't think it was a problem. This is just another, again, super versatile Pokemon. It learns pretty much any type of coverage in the game. It's a U-turner as well. I thought, we had 2 U-turners already in Landorus and Greninja. Hydreigon was, another potential U-turner. It also can defog. It's a really good Z move user. Like I said, it gets like Fire Blast, Flash Cannon, Iron Head if you want on the physical side, obviously Dark Pulse and Draco Meteor, but super high special attack stat, decent speed tier, to the point where if someone's thinking maybe I can run Adamant Victini, we can outspeed an Adamant Victini. Obviously a really good Choice Scarf user. We didn't really have that on the team aside from Landorus, but I think Landorus Eyes is better used not choicing it. So this is a really good Choice Scarf user. Speaking of Choice Scarf users, we had our Steel type, we got our Dragon type, and then Gardevoir was available. And initially I wanted Sylveon, but it got taken from me. So I decided to go with Gardevoir because I realized, aside from Venusaur and Hydreigon gets Roost, but aside from those 2, we didn't really have any reliable recovery. And with Landorus and T-Tar and Greninja, I wanted something that could pass healing to them. So obviously, Gardevoir has a great special attack stat and a great special defense stat, and a very decent speed tier for a bulky Pokemon on the special side. But for me, its real utility was its ability to Wish Pass. It also gets Healing Wish. It can be a Cleric. It gets Heal Bell. But you can also do things like Scarf it or Specs it, or put a Life Orb on it. It can also be a Z move. And it gets things like Thunderbolt, and I believe it gets Ice Beam. But so it's just overall, I think a really solid Pokemon to have. Obviously another Psychic type on the team, but we do resist the Dark type, so Dark is neutral. And Bronzong takes both of them take neutral bug damage. They are both weak to Ghost, but we do have Tyranitar, we do have Hydreigon, and technically we have Greninja to switch in onto Ghost type Pokemon. So yeah, this thing gets like Energy Ball, Grass Knot. So it does not get Ice Beam. That's right, it gets Icy Wind. But it also gets Misty Terrain. Telekinesis, which you can do some fun things with, and it's also a Trick User, and T-Wave again, T-Wave as well. So super versatile, and I believe that let me see how much this thing costed. So Hydreigon cost 14 points, Bronzong was 9, and then Gardevoir was only 9 points. Landorus, I said, was 13, Tyranitar 15, Greninja 17. Mega Venusaur 16, Bronzong 9, Hydreigon 14. I'm actually just going to bring this up for you. You can see on the left side there, this is my team, and these are the point totals. So on the left, you can see the point breakdown. I used every one of those 120 points. And, with Gardevoir, I was thinking maybe Comfey, but I decided that having Wish was more important to me. After that, we got Blastoise. I mentioned it earlier. It's a Pokemon that I wanted for its utility. It is a Rapid Spinner, which I thought was really important. We had 2 Defoggers already, but I wanted Rapid Spin because I wanted to be able to keep my hazards up. Greninja can get spikes or toxic spikes, and if we, Landorus and Tyranitar can set up rocks, and so can Bronzong. So I wanted a way to be able to keep those hazards up, and I think Rapid Spin is a huge plus. In a draft format, just because you can always threaten out those, you can always make sure that you're getting rid of those hazards, those pesky hazards. Abilities aren't great. Torrent's alright. Rain Dish is okay, but we're going to be running Sand. But also, I think what's really underrated about Blastoise is its move versatility. It gets priority in Aqua Jet. You can do Aqua Ring for a little bit of reliable recovery, but, it obviously gets things like Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, Surf, Scald, the things people run on their Mega Blastoise. But it also gets pretty cool things like, people run Dragon Pulse too, but it gets cool things like, Dynamic Punch if we want to use Telekinesis. It gets Gyro Ball, it gets Haze, which is really nice utility. Mirror Coat if we want to do some like Rindo Berry shenanigans. It gets Rain Dance if you want to be able to set up rain to stop the sand for some reason. It can Rest Talk, it can Toxic. So, we can trap things with Whirlpool if that's the route we want to go. So, it gets really cool moves. And it can actually set up with Workup, which we're probably never going to use, but maybe if we've, if the season's over or if we've clinched something, that might be the way we go. Alright, so for something that right when I picked Tyranitar, a Pokemon that I was eyeing right away was this beast, Stoutland. Obviously, it has 3 fantastic abilities. It gets Intimidate, which is great utility. It gets Scrappy, which means we can hit Ghost types. But it gets Sand Rush, doubling its speed in the sand. And, it has decent attack at 100. If you put a Choice Band on this thing, it's going to hit pretty dang hard. And on top of that, it has really good moves. It has decent bulk. So, talk about its bulk first. You can see right there it has 90 defense, 90 special defense, and 85 HP. Also, it might look like this Stoutland is not moving, this GIF, but it is moving, just so you know. It gets really great type coverage. It gets Aerial Ace if we need to run that. It gets the Fangs. It gets Crunch, obviously Return, Retaliate, Facade. It gets Psychic Fangs. It gets Pursuit. It gets, Snarl if we want to run some sort of weird tech. It gets Sunny. It can also put Rain Up or Sun Up with Sunny Day and Rain Dance. It gets Superpower. It can T-Wave, it can Toxic, it also gets Wild Charge. It doesn't get EQ, but it does get Stomping Tantrum and Dig. It also gets Iron Head and Play Rough, so just some really good coverage. And it's also a potential Z move user, like Z Giga Impact I could see myself using, which hits really hard. And, when it's, obviously we're not going to be bringing this thing every week, but when I see an opportunity that this thing could go off, I will definitely be bringing it. Next up is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, Raichu, and I think one of the most underrated Pokemon of all time. Static and Lightning Rod are really good abilities. You can run a slightly bulkier Raichu if you like with Static, with things like Nuzzle or T-Wave. You can run Discharge on it. You can run Electro Reb if you want to lower someone's stats. I think this Mon is super underrated, but also, it's a pretty versatile Pokemon. It can be physically or especially offensive, and if you give it some love, it can actually hit pretty hard. It gets, obviously, it's stab with like Thunderbolt and Thunder, and Volt Tackle or Wild Charge, but it can also Volt Switch. It's also a Wish Passer. Omni Boost moves Z moves are banned, so we can't Happy Hour Raichu. But it gets things like Extreme Speed and Fake Outs. And, Dig if you want to use it. Surf, Fly, Iron Tail, which you would know from anime, Knockoff. Nasty Plot. So there's setup potential there. And on top of it, it has decent move versatility, at least in my opinion. Again, not something we're going to bring every week, but it's a nice electric immunity when we're running Lightning Rod. And it's a decently fast Pokemon. And at the end of the day, it only costed 4 points. Next, our penultimate pick was Delphox. We do not have a fire type on the team yet. And I thought, we have a lot of really great mons, but none of them are super fast besides Greninja. So I thought, let's get Delphox. 104 is a great speed tier. Super, super high special attack and 114. It can hit like a truck. And then decently high special defense. Blaze and Magician. Magician you could do some cool stuff with. We'll see, if I'll ever use that. It is another psychic type, but like I said, Ghost is really the only threatening thing there because the other mons, Gardevoir can resist Dark, and all three of them, are neutral against Dark, Bug types. But, the reason why this thing is only 7 points and is so low tier is because it does not have that move versatility that I was talking about. You can't run a whole lot with this thing. It's basically you're running Flamethrower, Fire Blast, you're running Psychic or Side Shock, and then you're running like Dazzling Gleam or Grass Knot and maybe Trick. That's what it's going to be, but it has the potential to Calm Mind, which might be potentially useful. It gets Hypnosis. If I ever want to run Incinerate, who knows? It gets Mystical Fire, which is a really cool move. It lowers the target special attack by 1 stage. So some decent stuff there. It also gets Psychic Terrain, which actually I think could be really useful with this team. It also gets Sunny Day. So, if the sand is up, I have a lot of Sunny Day setters that can help out Venusaur and can help out Delphox as well. This, like I said, it gets Trick, it gets Will-O-Wisp, and it's another potential Wish Passer. And then finally, we have Ariados. So I was planning on taking Glaceon, and Glaceon was still there at this point. And, then I saw, oh my god, Cacturn's there, but I didn't really, and I thought Sucker Punch would be really nice to have. But we have four Dark types already, so I didn't want to add the extra Dark type there. So this is actually a Pokemon that, resists or is neutral to ground. It quad resists fighting. It has a lot of good resistances. It has terrible stats, only 400 total stats. But 90 attack is not too bad. Also, it does get Sucker Punch, but excuse me, it's obviously not going to hit too hard. The main thing that I drafted Ariados for was the fact that it gets access to Sticky Webs. And Ariados might come once this season. I mean, maybe not even once. But the fact that my opponent needs to think at the back of the mind, oh, maybe he brings Ariados, and maybe he brings those Sticky Webs, is really nice. It also gets Toxic Spikes, which is, another, I love Toxic Spikes and Spikes. So another thing that can set those up is really great for me. And it gets a cool utility move called Toxic Thread, which poisons your opponent and lowers their speed by 1 stage. And so, it's not a good Pokemon. But it has decent move versatility. I'm not gonna read off all of its moves, but if you bring Sticky Webs, Toxic Spikes, with Focus Sash, and you put Toxic Thread on it, or you put Venoshock on it to hit a little bit harder, it could be decent. It could be decent. Fell Stinger is also an option, and it just has a little bit of utility. Unfortunately, you can't Baton Pass. Otherwise, I would consider doing that. I mean, it gets Lunge too, which lowers your opponent's attack by 1 stage, which is not bad. So, I don't know. It is what it is. Not a super great Pokemon. Not even a good Pokemon per se. But a Pokemon that could have utility if I see a team that I know is gonna have a hard time getting rid of hazards, and I want to bring T-Spikes and Sticky Webs. It's definitely not off the table. So there you can see my team. Again, let me know what you guys think. I'm really happy with the team. I think we have a lot of really cool Pokemon, great versatility, things that cover for each other. And then we just have some good Pokemon like Gardevoir and Landorus and Tyranitar and Greninja and Mega Venusaur and Hydreigon. Like, those are just great Pokemon and things that can hit hard and do a lot of different things. So just a little bit of housekeeping for you guys, just to keep you guys in the loop. The first week 1 of the Trainers Battles Association is going to be next Monday. So this is going up on a Friday. The league play is between Monday and Friday. So what's going to end up happening is we are going to play every week. I'm going to aim to play on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday early in the week. And then on Thursday or Friday, depending on when we battle, I'm going to be dropping a team preview and a team builder. And then every single Saturday, our battles will be uploaded. Now, I didn't mention this is a showdown league, so we aren't going to be battling on our 3DSs. Unfortunately, it is a showdown league, but it still should be a lot of fun. And just looking ahead to week 1 a little bit, I'm going to bring up the schedule right here. You can see right here we face the St. Kilda Keldios. And I'm going to put a link to this document below so you can go through people's teams. You obviously can't edit, but you can go through everyone's teams. You can see what they have. We have tabs for the rosters down here, different sheets, so you can see other teams' rosters. You can see St. Kilda right away. I was looking at it earlier, and they are going to have a hard time getting rid of hazards. So it's I probably should have said that, and just in case he watches this video, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the league. I honestly think I have one of the better teams. Obviously, you have a team like this where the Detroit Dittos, where they have Kyurem Black, Mega Mawile, Hoopa Unbound, Kartana. I mean, just really threatening Pokemon, but it's not super deep. And I think what I love about my team is the fact that 11 Pokemon, or I mean, honestly, any of my 12 Pokemon could come in a given week. And, having that Sandstream, Sandforce, Landorus Eye, you have to prepare for that. And, maybe there will be weeks where I don't bring it, and I can exploit the fact that my opponent had to prepare for that. Another thing, we are one of 4 teams with 12 Pokemon. I like having as many Pokemon as possible. Like I said before, I would rather have versatility than just a top-heavy team. And honestly, that can bite me in the butt. It has before in a draft league, but, it's okay because, this is what I like, and there's mons there that I personally just really like Raichu, I just love. So it's one of my favorite Pokemon. I also want to have some fun with it. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think about my team, what you guys would change. Should I drop Ariados? You can go to the tier list here, and you can scroll all the way through, and you can see all these, if I can get all the way to the end, all these 2-point Pokemon and, you know, look and see, should I get something else that's not Ariados? Or should I drop something and pick up something? You know, you guys can always suggest roster moves. I'm always open to that. And yeah, this has been a super long video, but I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. I really hope you guys are as excited as I am to watch some of these battles and to compete in this league. Anyway, also, if you want to be added to the league's Discord, let me know. You guys can also battle in the league. We are in the Silver Cup. There's a Bronze Cup, which they're still looking for. There is the Gold Cup, which is filled. But there is opportunities to be involved in this league, and you know, you can join the Discord, and just see what's going on, even if you don't want to compete. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you do not miss any of our battles in the Trainers Battle Association. Alright guys, I am going to get out of here and upload this video and do some other stuff. So I will see you guys later. But before I go, remember, a video from Big Time makes your life sublime. So until next time, bye.